Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Fed Up, your no BS nutrition podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Marie, certified personal trainer and nutrition specialist, working with clients since 2014. After swimming up diet culture's bullshit stream for so many years, I am fed the absolute up with how miserable it's making people feel when we are supposed to be getting healthier. This podcast is here to help you gain your sanity back so you can stop yo-yoing once and for all and finally learn how to trust yourself so you can enjoy food again without fear or shame while still getting to your health goals. My aim is to teach you how to detect the BS in not just the food and diet industries, but in all realms of life, because I know that, like me, we are all just a little fed up. So without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Another day, another dollar, here we go. Except I don't make any doll hairs from this podcast. But thank you for listening. Welcome on back. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, especially if you noticed I didn't post for a couple of weeks. But we are back. We're here. And just bear with me. I don't have a production team. I don't have a whole bunch of fancy equipment or a manager keeping me on schedule. It is just me, myself, and I. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me and realizing again that I'm not a full-time podcaster. So sometimes it is a little bit difficult for me to get an episode out, but we're trying, we're here, majority rules. So meaning I want to carry this message over to you don't have to work out every single day. You don't have to eat perfectly clean every single day. You're not going to hit your protein goals. You're going to overeat. You're going to have too much sugar or eat meals some days, and that's okay. But when you look at the 52 weeks a year, when you look at the 365-ish days we get, what are you doing? When you look at the last 5 years, what are you doing most of the time, right? That's what we're aiming for. That's what we're looking at. So we're going to get this podcast out most of the time. And y'all are going to appreciate it when it does come out. Anyway, okay, I'm done yelling at you. I just got a couple of comments recently where it was like, oh, I haven't seen you recently. And I'm like, yeah, because I have other things. I'm sorry. Don't make me feel bad. Anyway, if you hear a dog barking in the background, I apologize. Hopefully my AI optimization will do its job. Okay, I'm not even going to start this intro over again. Normally we would because this was a little bit of a shite show, but it's okay. We are moving on. Welcome to Fed Up, the No BS Nutrition Podcast. I'm your host. Thanks for tuning in. All right, today we are talking about the real way to lose weight, aka speed up your frickin' metabolism so that you can enjoy pizza and not gain 3 pounds. That nobody is talking about. There's the age-old question, can you out-train a bad diet? And I'm here to tell you, yes. And I'm not saying you should, because there are other health markers that are important, but bodybuilders, when they are full of muscle, there's a reason that they can have giant cheat meals, or they can walk into the gym eating a Rice Krispie treat or a Pop-Tart, and they're not worried about it because your muscle eats that shit up. And my doctor can even say, oh yeah, you're 2 points higher on cholesterol than I would like. So yes, let's work on that. Increase your fiber, decrease your saturated fat. That's how you decrease your cholesterol, by the way. It's not by not eating eggs. Anyway, when you look at the rest of my health and my body and what I'm doing, my doctor's literally like, I'm not really worried about it because your metabolism, your muscle, your heart, everything else is very healthy. And I don't have heart disease in my family. Things like that do matter. But if I was overweight, if I had high, cholesterol, now I'm at risk for heart disease. If I had it in my family, there's a whole lot of other risk factors that hopefully your good doctor will take into consideration. But something that we're not talking about is you can try every diet under the sun. You can run your little heart out, start walking every day, do all of the things. But if you are not building muscle, via progressive weightlifting, you are losing muscle, especially after the age of 30 or about 25, technically. You are building bone density in your 20s and early 30s, and you will peak out. And then you hit menopause, you lose all your estrogen, and you lose all your bone density. And now you're a frail old woman, which we'll talk about later. So something that we have not talked about, you can, again, try every diet in the frickin' world, but if you are not building muscle, you are slowing down your metabolism. It is going to make losing weight in the future or currently harder and harder and harder if you don't build muscle. So, when you are looking at dieting or what should I cut out or calorie restriction, like there's all these nutritional ways to lose weight, and a lot of people start there, which is fine. You might lose the first 50 pounds, the first 10 pounds, only diet alone. Great. Have at it. You still need to start weightlifting. You could lose 0 pounds. You still need to be weightlifting. You could even gain some weight because you started weightlifting and you built muscle and lose the fat and lose the inches and lose the dress sizes. You still need to be weightlifting. You could be an active little person that's running all over the place with their kids, with their sports, with hiking and swimming and skiing, whatever it may be. You still need to be weightlifting. Look at every single Olympic athlete. It doesn't matter their sport. They're jacked as hell because they lift weights. Yay. So let's get into it. So why is this important? For real. Well, muscle is more metabolically active than fat tissue, meaning muscle tissue will burn about 6 to 7 calories per day per pound, and fat burns about 2. So you're getting like triple to quadruple the amount of calories burned per pound of muscle than per pound of fat, meaning 10 pounds of muscle, you're burning 60 to 70 extra calories per day at rest doing nothing. So me existing at 150 pounds, 5'6" of muscle, not pure muscle, obviously, but like, a lean body fat percentage or a body fat percentage of, I don't know, say like 20% for me. I'm clearly estimating, versus somebody who's 150 pounds, 5'6", and 40% fat, right? So that person is going to be burning a lot less calories just existing. So for every 10 pounds of fat, it's only about 20 calories that fat needs to exist. Muscle needs a hell of a lot more. Now, that's at rest. That does not include when I walk, when I work out, when I lift weights. Now that I have more muscle on me already, it's going to burn more calories while I'm working out too. So again, I am just burning a shit ton of calories all the time versus somebody who doesn't have very much muscle. When they walk, when they move, when they work out, they actually burn a lot less calories. So you're going to work your little heart out for a couple of months, and you might not be burning a lot of calories, and that's okay. And then you build muscle, and then you become a calorie burning machine. So be patient, my friends. Muscle tissue also is going to improve insulin sensitivity, which is going to lead to a higher caloric burn during workouts because, again, your muscles are like hungry for glucose. So it eats it up. It uses it. This is also why bodybuilders walk into the gym eating Rice Krispie treats and Pop-Tarts, because they know the glucose is going to hit their muscles really freaking quick, give them a ton of energy and a great pump, and then they can eat a full meal afterwards. They're not storing that Pop-Tart as fat, versus you're eating a couple of treats late at night, early in the morning because you get a donut on the way or whatever it is. It doesn't matter when you're eating it, but you're just eating those donuts or those Rice Krispie treats that simple sugar, those glucose, your fat muscle balance, if that is not a high muscle to fat ratio, your fat is just going to be cool. I don't really need this glucose, so the insulin doesn't really, requires a ton of insulin to pump, blah, blah, blah. Insulin is your hormone to tell your cells like in your muscle tissue to uptake glucose, to be like, cool, let's pull glucose from the bloodstream and give it to our cells to create energy. When you don't have cells that need that energy, that's what creates insulin resistance. Your fat cells are interfering with your insulin response. That's why it helps to have muscle more than fat. Anyway, that's why you can also be skinny fat and still get type 2 diabetes, because if you have more fat to muscle ratio, you are at risk of insulin sensitivity issues. So when you are also more fit, more muscular, you are going to naturally increase your activity level in general without even trying to. Yes, you're working out now. Yes, you're burning more calories just existing. Yes, you're burning calories while you're doing those exercises, but you're also walking more, standing more, carrying things more. They all feel easier, so you're doing it more, not just because of physical capability, right? It feels easier, but also movement begets movement in the physical and the mental. So you're going to have more executive function. That is your brain's ability to do tasks, organize tasks, start and finish a task. You're going to have more mental energy and more mental, let's call it resilience, right? You're not going to get drained, fatigued, emotionally irritable near as much because your brain is feeling good. You've got some dopamine happening. Your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is going to go up. This is your, I don't even mean to be exercising, but I'm burning calories. So again, it's not your workout, like your purposeful workout when you're going on a hike or when you're going, to a workout class or when you're lifting weights. It's going to be when you're just like standing around, walking. Fidgeting is part of your NEAT. If you have a desk job, you might start fidgeting more, gesturing more. Basically, your body's like, cool, we have all this energy to use up. Let's use it. It's pretty cool. They also show that when you have more muscle, you tend to fidget more. So people that are muscular tend to just move their body more because muscle tone, like when someone looks muscular, right? Your muscles are in like this autonomic active state. They are actually almost like vibrating or shaking a little bit. I'm not even shitting you. This is why Parkinson's happens, because there is a part of your brain that basically the more active you are and you have like more muscle tone, or I don't exactly know if that's like correlated. I shouldn't say that. Don't quote me on this. I am pulling this out of my butt because I can't remember exactly. But I swear to you, when Parkinson's happens, there's a part of your brain that like basically stops inhibiting the shakes. And that's why you start shaking more and more and more. It's like your brain is losing that function and then your muscles are responding. So without Parkinson's, we're able to inhibit our shakes, but eventually your brain loses that ability when you get Parkinson's. So that's part of it. You're also going to train harder, recover faster, right? You're going to work out harder. And the more fit you are, burn more calories upon more calories upon more calories. And more muscles means more lifting, more tension, more calories burned. You become a metabolic frickin' machine. Which is why, yes, I can have pizza and fast food, and frankly, I can eat like shit for a couple of weeks, and like I might gain some weight, I might gain a couple of pounds, but like most people probably wouldn't notice that much. But my gut and my other like health markers, my mental health, my heart and blood pressure, like there's other reasons not to eat like crap, okay? But if I'm relatively within my calorie range, I can actually eat like a low quality diet and I'm not going to like gain a bunch of fat. That doesn't mean you should, again, hear me out. A donut is not a complete breakfast. And again, my guts, my skin, my mental health, all of the my cancer fighting bodies that are in my immune system, like all of your body cells respond to the nutrients you give it, right? So that matters. But again, there's a lot of fortification in foods and you can kind of be pretty flexible. It actually takes a lot to be like gravely malnourished in the States and in like mostly middle class. And even if you're lower class, eating a lot of food that is, fast food and packaged food, processed food, canned food, frozen food. All of those things are fortified now. So you still don't see really low income people with like extreme deficiencies. Now, they're probably not an optimal range for vitamin D, magnesium, calcium, protein. Like there are, again, the difference between like adequate, you won't die nutrition and like optimal, you feel great nutrition, right? So that being said, the more muscle you have, the more bone density you have, the more carbs you can handle because you have good insulin resistance, the more calories you can handle because your muscles and your bones are hungry, the more calories you burn naturally when you're not even trying, when you're chilling, and when you're working out. Look at all of that. So when we're talking about calorie deficit, a lot of people are like, okay, I'm just going to eat as little as possible. And that fails because if you've been listening to this podcast, you'll know it's going to lead to binging, or it's going to be so short term that you're going to end up, falling off the diet anyway, or I should say, you are slowing your metabolism down every time you do that, right? However, it's not lemon water. It's not freaking chia seeds, which are also good for you. Eat those. It's not any magical thing that is going to increase your metabolism except for building muscle. And your metabolism does not slow down via age alone. They say that happens like 1 or 2%. Your BMR slows at like 65. Okay? Not at 30, not at 40. I don't care what you think. It's because you haven't built any muscle. It's because from 25 to 35, you spent 10 years losing 1 to 2 pounds of muscle every 6 months and gaining 10 pounds of fat every year. Tell me. Any hooser, when you are in a calorie deficit, when you are lifting weights, and make sure you're getting enough protein because the protein is going to help with building muscle while in that deficit and preserving that muscle. Your fat is going to actually be converted to muscle for calories, for, energy when you are building muscle in a calorie deficit. So there is such thing as body fat, like body recomposition, as they say, when your body fat percentage is decreasing, your muscle mass is increasing. That happens pretty much a lot for like beginners. Once you're a little more advanced, you look like a muscular person, losing the last like 5 pounds or like shredding out can be a lot harder, but you've already built the habits. You've already built the things. That's why bodybuilders can just like get into shape in 12 weeks and then kind of bulk for a season and then get into shape for 12 weeks because they've learned to follow a routine, right? But like, if you don't have that, you've got to build that first. And then you'll start to build some momentum, gain some muscle, lose some fat at the same time. And then we can start to reassess later down the road, right? Because you might plateau for sure. It's going to happen. Nothing's linear in this business. All right. If we just like built linear strength or lost linear weight, just imagine. Okay. No. So protein is also important when you are in this phase because not only it's going to help preserve your muscle protein synthesis, all that good things, it's also going to help keep you full, which is going to help you reduce your overall amount of calories. It's much easier to eat 12 carb donuts versus 12 protein donuts. I don't know, just we're going with it. So it's also going to increase a little bit. We do have some calories that are burned in our digestion's extraction of food. So it's called the thermic effect of food, or TEF. And essentially protein burns more calories to digest, to extract said calories, right? So protein's going to help you in so many different ways. And I always recommend, like, if you're going to go in a calorie deficit and track any type of macro, track the protein and fiber just to make sure that you're getting the fiber, because I listen to other episodes, go into fiber another time. But if you want to really optimize your diet, it's not about cutting carbs or anything like that. You can have your carbs and fats kind of at whatever ratio, as long as your calories are within that range, because protein, carbs, and fats are what make up those calories. So equate your protein, 100 grams, 150 grams, whatever it may be for you, and then find your calorie range. And then your carbs and fats will just kind of like fit depending on your ratio. If you're really, really active, you like a high carb diet, great. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're more of somebody who eats a lot of fatty foods versus carbs, that's fine too. I've had both in clients, both for preference and whatever other reasons. So if I were to suggest doing anything, and maybe dieting is really hard for you to focus on, or again, you want to build some momentum before you just change everything that you're eating, start lifting weights. And it can help regulate your appetite too, by the way. I am way better at eating balanced meals, eating regularly, feeling hungry when I'm supposed to be hungry when I am working out and lifting weights. So that does help, but get serious about it. I don't want you dropping into body pump once a week, once a month. I don't want you doing Pilates. Pilates can be great in other things. I want you in the weight room, in the jungle, as I call it, with the bros, learning to do push-ups and bench press, pull-ups, lat pull-downs, squats, lunges, leg press. I want you to push heavy. I want you to go towards failure, as we call it. So save a few reps in the tank, right? You don't have to actually fail at your exercises, but you should be pushing toward holy crap, that was really hard. And then recovering well in between by eating enough calories, eating enough protein, sleeping enough, drinking enough water, all the good things for self-care, right? And trust me, most people I work with, they start to try to lose weight with diet and cardio. And cardio sucks. We hate it. And especially if you have weight to lose, it can hurt. The impact from running sucks. And getting sweaty and breathing hard, it sucks. You spend 5 minutes on an elliptical and you're dying. Lifting weights, there's a feeling that comes with it. I've seen it with people, beginners, advanced. I felt it, that you feel proud, not defeated. Whereas cardio can make you feel defeated if you don't genuinely prefer it or you genuinely, want to do it for whatever reason. But lifting weights makes people feel fucking good. And it's great. And I love that for people. And I'm also convinced that, especially women, we think that a good workout means sweaty and your muscles burn and that kind of vibe. But if you just heat up a room to 90 degrees, that does not mean it's a more effective workout. Some people sweat way more than others. Some people are more hydrated way more than others. That does not indicate a good workout. Your soreness level does not indicate a good workout. So when you're looking at, would I rather try to run, or do I just want to go to the gym 2-3 times a week, spend 45 minutes lifting some weights, resting in between, because we get to do that when you're lifting weights? It feels great. People freaking love it. All right? People fall in love with it. It's fantastic. So I just want to encourage you that if you've been working on your nutrition, your diet, if you've just been I want to lose 10 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, I don't know what it is, and you're not serious about lifting weights, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about every diet you've tried. I'm just kidding. This is such tough love. And I'm only talking to you like this because I'm not talking to anyone. If you are my client, I promise you, I won't yell at you like this. But if you have not gotten serious about weightlifting, I don't want to hear about all the diets you've tried. Because again, I do want to hear about all the diets you've tried, but you have slowed your metabolism down so much. Dieting more and more and more is not going to help anymore. Okay? Okay, little peach? So if you are serious about weightlifting and you know nowhere to go, nothing about it, nowhere to start, whatever it may be, hire a trainer, go join a class, go join a gym and just watch people. There's so much free shit online that you can look up. So again, I don't want to hear, I don't know how to lift weights. There are resources, okay? I am one of those resources. So I'm here to help you out. But you can't lose the type of weight you want to lose and get the body you want to get without weightlifting. Eventually. You can lose weight, sure. But also, again, if you want to look toned underneath the weight loss, if you want to actually enjoy working out, if you want to do this long term, if you want to actually increase and repair your metabolism, you need some muscles, darling. And that's the episode. So love you all. Hope this helps. I know we didn't really talk a lot about nutrition, but I wanted to pivot, put my personal trainer hat on for a little bit. And if you are looking for an easy to follow program. I do have my online lift club. It's 3, 6, or 12 months. It's a full 12-month program, but you can commit to 3, 6, or 12. And it is so helpful to have a progressive plan to know when to increase your weights, how to progress. Do I do 8 reps, 5 reps, 12 reps? There is a method to the madness, right? Right now, I just want you to focus on starting. I don't care what you do, 3 sets of 10, all right? Just keep that in your brain. Keep it simple, but eventually you do have to progress. And a lot of people don't, and that's when you plateau and then you give up or you don't know what to do next, whatever it may be. That's okay too. This is an forever learning process. I'm a professional and I've been doing this since 2014 and I still have so much to learn. I'm still learning every single day. So this is your life now. You're a weightlifter. You eat enough protein. You watch your calories so that you're not going crazy overboard. You enjoy a couple of cupcakes. You eat your broccoli. You do all the things to take care of yourself from the inside out, including putting tension on your muscles and your bones so you don't end up a frail old person. Okay? Love you. See you next week, or not really. Talk to you next week. This is what happens when I don't start the episode over or don't edit my recording. We're just going with it. Raw and unfiltered. Thanks, y'all, for being here. Chat at you next week. Thanks so much for being here, friends. If you enjoyed this episode, please screenshot and tag me over on Instagram or leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening from. Your support means the world to me and only helps me get the no BS news out to more people. If you're interested in working with me in nutrition or personal training, check out my programs and courses on my website at kaylamariefitness.com and on Instagram at kaylamarie_fit. See you next week.